on any of them? Okay, perfect.
We're live right now. Excellent. We are. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to Her First Million, a YouTube channel tailored exclusively for women business owners in traditionally male-dominated fields like manufacturing, the trades, technology, attorneys, CPAs. You get the drill. I'm Amanda, your business chaos order and host. With Her First Million, I'm dedicated to providing 3 segments to you. All of them are set to transform your business. The first one is called Love Your Numbers. That segment is all about unraveling the complexities of financial management. We're not talking about accounting 101 or how to read your P&L. I'm actually going into the numbers and helping you confidently optimize your business for greater profitability. And that means uncovering how those numbers work and how to change them, more importantly. And then I also have a second segment called Ask Amanda. That's where your questions take center stage and no question is off limits. So whether or not you slide into my DMs for privacy or you share a question below, I can't wait to hear from you and then share insightful answers to help you steer your business in the right direction. And the segments I love the most are the interviews. And that's where I get to sit down with trailblazing women entrepreneurs who have excelled in industries traditionally dominated by men and who support them, and other people who support them in fun ways. So these interviews, we unearth strategies and navigate through common and uncommon challenges. We help people get through to that coveted 1 million and way beyond. And today, right here, right now, we are live and we're about to have one of those conversations with none other than Lauren Morgan. Her story is set to inspire. Her insights are set to transform, and her journey is a testament to the incredible potential that waits inside of each of you. And I'm so excited. I had so much fun talking to Lauren before she came on. She is going to be a wealth of knowledge for all of you. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. She is the founding attorney behind Activated Law and The Legal No, where she specializes in entities, contracts, IP, and employment law. So I can't wait for her to tell you a little bit more about herself and what she does in that law firm. But she is a powerhouse. She enrolled in college at the age of 16 and started her first business then. I asked her all about that even back then. She has also been voted one of the top 10 solo firms in Arizona. And she continues to grow and adapt. She's leading in faith, and she's also practicing law. Today, she is empowering business owners and creative entrepreneurs to protect their brands and their peace of mind while taking things to the next level by monetizing all those things. So, Lauren, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So when we're first talking about how do I even, or why do I even bring on an attorney into my world, I can tell you there has been 4 times since I've owned businesses, plural, that I needed an attorney, and it was always after something went wrong or potentially suing material thing stuff. So tell us a little bit about why we would connect with you.
Absolutely. So I actually want to be the partner that comes along to your business and helps you avoid those type of situations. I'm sure you can tell us that they are very stressful. It's very expensive. And so if you have someone that's walking alongside your business, proactively guiding you to avoid those pitfalls and making sure your business is positioned so that you don't have to encounter any of that. That is what I want to be known for as an attorney, right? So really, honestly, it's inevitable. We're in business. As you continue to grow and scale, you're going to get the threat of a lawsuit. In some capacity, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. So being proactive, making sure you are equipped for it and your business are equipped for it is really what my law firm stands for. We're pre-litigation only. We don't even go to court. We keep you out of court and handling business so you don't have to deal with the stress, the expenses, and just you can have the peace of mind that knowing your business is protected.
Yeah, let me tell you, I didn't even know what I didn't know until I knew that I didn't know it, I guess. thing. Well, and out in the world these days, there's AI all over the place. You can go in and say, create me this contract, and this is my bad. This is actually fairly recent, within the last year and a half, where I took a part of my contract and then took a part from AI contract and kind of squished them together to DIY a contract for a subcontractor. And let's just say that didn't work out very well, because I ended up spending quite a bit of money in a potential lawsuit. So with that subcontractor. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you probably want to ask me about that, which we won't dive into. But when it comes to the expense and how I've learned my lesson the hard way. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and we have a term for that in the legal world. We call it a Frankenstein. Oh yeah, we call it a Frankenstein contract. So I don't need to ask you any questions because I'm very familiar with it. And I just want to encourage people that AI is a good thing. It is something to be innovative. It is something to be forward thinking with your business. But I want to encourage people that AI is not a lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
AI is not, it's not specific to your legal needs. Even if you ask AI about intellectual property, things like that, it will tell you, please do not, I'm not going to keep it confidential. We are open platform, even on the paid versions. So I just want people to be mindful. Great to use as a source of research, a starting place, so that you are educated and knowing when you come into conversations with legal counsel. But please do not rely on it to protect your business, to fortify it for contracts. It doesn't know. It doesn't. It just doesn't.
It actually doesn't save you any money on accident. And I found that out the hard way. Yeah. So there you go. Can you tell me a little bit? So we're going to go pre-active, because I was quite reactive in that story. I was always reactive. So when we spoke, I thought it was so important to hear a little bit more about how someone can monetize their legal assets. That feels like a really vague idea to me that I can't really see. So can you break it down for us on why and how we would, or what really are legal assets and how can we monetize them?
Absolutely. I'm so passionate about this because taking it a step further, not only am I the lawyer that partners with you, keeps you along the way, but I'm the lawyer that makes you money, not just costs you money, right? So I am so in love with this concept, right? And it's not a new concept, I'll be honest. It's something that's been around for years, but it's just educating people on those opportunities and positioning them with that. And so your legal asset, you think of it as a house, right? So your trademark, right? The name of your business, if you have a catchy slogan or a hashtag, a color even, those are your intellectual properties. It's something that sets your brand apart, is unique. And when people see that, they identify that. Well, we live in a world full of imitators. And so people oftentimes, imitators, and sometimes people innocently enough, they think it's their idea originally. They're like, hey, they maybe saw your brand subconsciously or someone else mentioned it to them. And then they think they came up with a great idea, but it already exists actually, right? When you have protected your intellectual property, you can, most commonly people send cease and desist letters, right? And so what I'm encouraging people to do now, my clients, let's take a look at the brand that's infringing upon your brand. Is it something that's disparaging or negative that, is something that will give your name a bad reputation? If not, maybe we don't want to send them a cease and desist. Maybe they're in a different, they have a different little niche, something that isn't really going to harm your brand at all or affect your brand at all. Maybe we send them a letter and offer them a licensing contract to use the name or stop using the name. If they ultimately disagree, then yes, we're sending a cease and desist. But before that cease and desist, let's be proactive in extending an opportunity for people to license our name. So let our trademark make us money. What our brand is, hey, we don't mind you using this. There's nothing disparaging about it. There's some guidelines to how you're going to continue to use it if you want to use it, but you can pay us a license fee annually, monthly, renewable. This becomes residual income and it creates an additional stream of income for your business, right? So just as simple as the brand that you've built, trademarking it, protecting it, you can now offer people and extend them licenses.
That's amazing. So with our brand, so we're thinking in terms of, people who already have a brand. can you tell me about how I qualify myself as someone who's ready to protect my brand?
That is actually a great question. It's a little bit of a loaded question because it's going to depend on the person that's there. The
Mhm.
easiest way that I usually do this is that I have a free resource and I'll give you the link for it. It's open. It's like a legal
Okay.
audit that people go through, and it tells you where you
Mhm.
are with your brand. And depending on the stage that you're at, it's going to tell you, hey, these are some of the things you probably need to consider and be proactive with protecting and things like that. I've spent a lot of time working with business owners over the last 8 years, and I've honed in on that legal audit. It's pretty accurate, and it lets people know this is what you need to protect or focus on holistically in your business, right? Otherwise, I have a conversation with them if I do want to leave the audience with some value without them having to go to the free resource. So I'll say, if you have a brand and you have something you've built, you've invested money and time in, and it's not protected, let that be a little trigger that maybe let's do a consult or talk to some type of legal professional, not even myself, um, to make sure that you're protected, right? We want to make sure that your assets are protected. If you have a Frankenstein contract, right, we want to make sure that's getting reviewed. We want to make sure that people are aware that there are some clauses or nuances that you might not be fully protected by, right? And then the last little tip that I want to give with that is that if you have started a business and you do not have an entity of some sort, right, an LLC, an S corp, or you've been in an LLC for a while and you're hitting that 6-figure mark, I want to plant the seed that maybe you're having a call with your accountant, because maybe it's time for you to change the structure where you're
Mhm.
going to be an S corp or some type of entity that is suitable for you with a different tax election, right? An S corp, honestly, in a
Mhm.
lot of states, is not an entity. It's actually just a tax election in a lot of states.
Mhm.
So just being educated on that and what that process is and how you can make sure your business is protected holistically. And
Mhm.
one more tip, just it came to me as I was saying that. If you
Yeah.
have employees or you're thinking about hiring employees, federal law distinguishes the difference between an IC and an employee. And so it's very important that you be clear on that. Just
Mhm.
navigating those waters could be very costly if you miscategorize someone as a IC and they're actually an employee. So maybe having some guidance to navigate that as well. So it's different triggers throughout your business that can really signify, let me go be proactive and get some more information and guidance on this process.
So, how do I discover if I have intellectual property in my business, and how would you help me with that?
First of all, I love this question. This is great. And I will tell you off top, everybody has intellectual property. Everybody. Even right now, talking to you when we got on, I love that your I think it was, you call it your slogan maybe. So your business chaos sorter. That is
Oh,
very unique. I've never heard anybody else be called that or things like that. And in my head, I'm like, hey, this is uniqueness. This
mhm.
gives clarity, and it sets you apart, because I know as a business owner, we face chaos all the time, right? Navigating things happening. And so to me, immediately I want to ask you, hey, what type of chaos are you sorting for me? How are you
Mhm.
helping me with this?
Mhm.
That is something that is bringing you clients, and it's
Mhm.
brand worthy. So I would say we need to protect that. We need to
Mhm.
make sure you have a trademark for this, right?
Mhm.
If you have any type of curriculum, if you have any type of website copy, that is the copyright, right? So intellectual property isn't just trademarking; it's also copywriting, patents as well. It's
Mhm.
trade secrets. So it's multiple categories within there. But the most popular that I deal with are trademarks and copyrights. And so copyrights is any of your written procedures that you have. And usually in talking with me, I can help you identify what your copyrighted materials are that we should pull out, or I can recognize that you have a specific skill set that you do really, really well, right?
Mhm.
And you're good at this, and you may or may not even know it. You're like, yeah, no, I just kind of do it on the side though. And I'm like, no, but you're really good at this. Like, you're really good. Maybe you should write an ebook, right? Ebooks are
Mhm.
copyrighted materials. Your lead magnets are copyrighted materials. So if you are in business, you
Mhm.
100% have multiple trademarks and multiple copyrights that we proactively want you to be protecting, because we can monetize all of that. We can put it into a bundle or program. I would say I've done a lot of podcasts, but your process and how you've done this has been one of the
Mhm.
top 30 experiences that I've had. So I would say, hey, Amanda, you have an expertise with running and hosting podcasts. I was going to ask you offline. Do you help people produce their podcasts? Honestly, genuinely, that is a skill set that I can say, hey, Amanda, maybe you don't want to go and host other people's podcasts and produce it. It's a lot for you. But what if you did a one
Mhm.
call and you monetized your skill set with this, came up with a curriculum, and you taught others how to produce podcasts for people, right?
Mhm.
That is a lot of things that we can identify and pull out your intellectual property that you're sitting on. You're doing it already, right? I'm sure
Mhm.
you have a checklist or something that you're using that to help you with your podcast. It's a matter of collecting that, taking it together, packaging it up, and saying, I'm gonna go ahead and protect this so then I can create another stream of income with this bundle, right? Because I would get it. I
Yeah.
need to learn how to produce podcasts.
There is something that you said early on that really resonated with me, which was, oh, you just kind of do it. And being that where I am in my world, I hear business owners who always think like, oh, don't people just always do this? And the answer is no. You are a unique individual who's taken all kinds of information from various walks of in your life so far, and you have combined them all to be something that is really unique. So I love that you said that even, the solo entrepreneur that might be thinking about what my intellectual property could even be, like, my business chaos sorter, which is what I call my market dominating position, and how I'm different than everybody else that sells what I sell. But yeah, thank you for breaking that down, each of those pieces of intellectual property, because I think of, a lot of people that tune in, they're in construction, they're in manufacturing, they maybe even have like a dental practice or something like that. And you all have processes that you've put into place in order to make your business successful. And those are all licensing opportunities and IP opportunities. So that's so cool that you really are helping, just have people think about this stuff in a different way so that you can bring in revenue rather than being a lawyer that takes that's the expense, right?
Exactly. It's just shifting people into being proactive and seeing things, because I work with a lot of business owners day to
Mhm.
day in a lot of industries. And so I can tell them, this is special, this is unique what you do, right? And
Mhm.
let's put that out of you and let's take that to the next level to help you open up another stream of income with that with ease, right? That's the goal. It's with ease. It's not something you're going to go
Yeah.
job. It's something you're doing already. Let's document that. Let's put
Well,
that out.
that's a really great segue into that question about how you create other streams of income with a brand.
Yeah, so some of the general ways of doing it off top are just, franchising, right? You've built
Mhm.
up this brand, this auto, then that's really big, honestly, for even construction, for manufacturing,
Mhm.
your audience that's listening, even dentistry, that's really big in dentistry as well. But if you have built up this site, you have your, for construction, you have your list of vendors that you're getting your materials from and things like that, and they're willing to ship anywhere. You can have someone, hey, I'm interested in doing construction here, do you have some information or things like that? And you're like, hey, actually, I'll give you my whole infrastructure, I'll give you my list of vendors, which is very valuable. You can take the strength of my relationship, the work that I've built this company on, and I'm going to package that up in a contract, right? A licensing of sorts with some, it's really contracts layered upon your intellectual property, your books of clients that you're giving them access to, your book of vendors. And you're saying,
Mhm.
I'm going to allow you to go over here, which is going to expand my business because I'm teaching you how to do it. I don't have to go do it, but I get a residual piece of income off of you doing what I've built an infrastructure over here with doing, right? So franchising
Mhm.
is very popular. Licensing is very popular. And licensing is very popular. We don't recognize that it's so popular, right? Photographers and videographers are really good with the licensing, right? It's
Mhm.
embedded in their contracts because copyrights are given to you from creation to the
Mhm.
person who created it. So if I hire a copy or a photographer, they're taking pictures of me. They own the copyright of that, but they give me the
Mhm.
right to that in my actual contract. And they're giving you a licensing fee to that. If you ever work with a photographer and you say, hey, I want all of the B-roll footage, I want every unedited photo in there that's not just that, they're going to usually charge you an additional fee for that, which is a licensing fee. They're giving you access to all of the photos that they've captured, good, bad, ugly, for you to use at your leisure. And that is a great example of licensing, but it exists anywhere. I spoke with someone yesterday in a consult, and she mentioned how she works with government contracts a lot. And doing that, they have them sign NDAs. Very, very common, nothing unusual about that. However, within those NDAs, you cannot use me as a reference of previous work history because you can't discuss our project. Well, there's a license to the work I created for you. And the fact that I can't discuss it is preventing me from getting more work. I can charge you more money for you having residual access to that, and I can't get more work based from my experience from this project, right? So you can charge a licensing fee on top of that. And you don't tell them I'm charging you a licensing fee because I have to sign this NDA and I can't discuss it, right? You build that into your cost once you understand what the NDA is going to look like, right? It's ways that you layer it in there. But ultimately, it is a licensing fee, right? That you're charging to access to my work that I can't do anything with anymore, right? So that's one way as well. And then there's white labeling. White labeling is, hey, I have products, right? I create candles and you love my candles. You want to start a candling business, but you don't want to do it from scratch. You want to buy my candle, put your label on it, and go out and get it. You're going to pay me once it's licensing as well, but a white labeling fee to have access to my products without my label on it, to put your branding on and do that. So basically, I'm doing all the work for you. I'm building everything up, but you're going to pay to come to the final process, put your stickers on it, make it look pretty, and then go resell it out, right? So white labeling is a great way. And it's a lot more, but I won't get into the depths of all the legal things, but those are some of the things that honestly anyone can do. If we're creative with our business and setup, we can navigate that. Anyone can.
Anyone can. It's pretty clear. For me, it's so important to have expertise in the room as I'm making decisions. People who watch this show know that I had a bakery business for 7 years. I started it from absolutely nothing, a farmer's market stand, and then grew it to 2.2 million in annual sales, but very little profit. So I had to sell it really quickly. There's a few different times that I needed a lawyer then. There's now with this company as I scale and grow this one, there have been 2 times that I've needed a lawyer there. And I am seeing just with your expertise how great it would be to have you in the room from the beginning so that you can have this lens. It feels very comprehensive to me. And the last time that we spoke, I feel that you had said something about the way that you structure relationships. Because I know that when I had issues and needed an attorney, I'd literally take my phone and start the timer on my phone the minute I hung up or when I pushed go on the call to my attorney so that I could watch out. I tend to tell stories and go off on tangents, and I wanted to make sure that I was on billable hours and taking and using the best use of my time there with that attorney. So can you tell us a little bit about how you bust through kind of that feeling of, oh no, I have to count every single minute that I'm talking to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I want it to be a partnership. So that means my clients have to trust me. My clients have to let me into their lives, let me into their thoughts, even some of the things that they're just playing with. I need the story so I can see, oh, you're considering this. This is how I need to position you and make sure you are protected holistically, right? Not you being on you're anxious. You want, oh, I got to say this. I got to make sure I hit only these points. You're almost rehearsed and you're only giving me what you think I need from you, not understanding I actually need a lot more, right? And so I partner with my clients and we offer flat fees, right? Because we want them to know it's like a project based, or if you're on retainer, we have standing appointments where this is where you have time to freely tell me what's coming up. What are you thinking about? What shifts or pivots are we making? What touch points do we need with your employees or with your team or on this project that you're working on, so that clients feel comfortable and can have that free flowing relationship and not feel like they're on the clock getting, charge for every second that they're talking to me. And I'm saying, hey, you're going to get a bill right after this call, right? So it really establishes that relationship piece and allows us to really partner together, honestly, so we can help take you to the next level.
I think that's cool. I hadn't heard that before, so I thank you for sharing that with the listeners. And when you think of businesses that are headed towards that million, um, we want to go above and beyond. So we're talking about a million in revenue up to 5 million in revenue. What are some essential insights that you can share with our listeners as we approach that?
Absolutely. So I have a 5-step proven process within our law firm that we actually help guide our clients through this exact very thing, right? And it's really simple. It's the areas of practice that I work in, right? So we need to be evaluating the entity, which isn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily your entity that it is. If you have 6 figures or more, it's time for us to start exploring the option of you having nonprofits so that we get the full tax benefits of your business, right? Because you enter into that different tax bracket, we want to save you money. Like I said, we're partnering to not just protect you, we're partnering with you to monetize your brand, which also means saving you money, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to look at those contracts. Are your contracts leaving you vulnerable? Is it leaving money on the table? Do you have all of your policies in place so that you're collecting your late fees, that you're getting things that are owed to you, right? That you're not having costly litigation lined up, right? Then we're going to look at that intellectual property. This is really kind of the gold mine because the options are endless here. If you're a business owner, you're creative, you are the originator. You're coming up with ideas all the time. We want to pull the ones out that are, this is golden. This is really good. Let's protect this, whether it be trademarks or copyrights. Let's get a system with this. Let's start a program, and that's making you money on autopilot while you're sleeping, things like that, right? And then lastly, we want to take a look at if you have employees or a team, honestly, at some point you need a team. You cannot do it by yourself. You have to absolutely have a team. And so we're going to look at that, make sure that your infrastructure with them is legally sound, is correct, and you don't have any vulnerabilities there because employees will come back and sue you, right? They will come back and cost you a lot of money sometimes. And then the 5th step is really holistically looking at all of those moving pieces and coming up with a custom monetization strategy for you based off of those areas within your business. So it's a whole pie in multiple pieces of it, but we take it and evaluate each to come up with that end solution for you.
That five-step process makes sense to me because you're kind of starting with that entity. Then once the entity is understood and that's where you're going to grow, you're looking at your contracts and diving deep into the details, if you will, and then uncovering the IP. And then I heard employee vulnerabilities, that piece. I mean, I had during this time, holiday time, I would have more than 25 people working for me. And then the monetization. So seeing that from the outside and bringing in a trusted person that can see how I could monetize different areas of my business. That I see it clearly that 5 steps. It makes a lot of sense to me. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I know that you offered a link too. So we'll get that. Once I get that, I will put it up into the live stream for people to look into the comment section there. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience while I have you today?
Well, one, I just want to thank you. It's been awesome being here. And honestly, if anyone wants to take that free legal audit, it's going to be honestly a game changer. I think that's a great start for anyone who doesn't know where they should be or how to start and navigate. And my heart is really to serve. So if I could ever be of service to yourself or any of your clients, I am here for that. But once again, thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing.
Of course. Yes. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much for being here. And she is seriously a wealth of knowledge. The first 15 minutes that I had with her to prepare for this interview was a gold mine. So please do take her up on that offer. And thank you so much for sharing your story. It just means so much to us. And those people that are here and you're ready to make your first or next million and you're serious about accelerating your growth, then I'd love for you to try my Profit Acceleration Workshop. And here's the truth. When I launched my bakery business, that gluten-free bakery that I talked to you about in 2012, I had a beautiful business plan that would have gotten an A+ in any business class, but To tell you the truth, it was completely useless. Why? Because I didn't need that plan. I needed actionable strategies to bridge the gap from my vision to real world implementation. So, for example, I wanted to increase my revenue by 15%, but I didn't know how to make that happen. So, I dreamed of more income for my family, but my profit margins were less than 3%, even while I was generating over 2 million annually. So, when I sold that company, I had to sell it quickly, but for far less than it should have because my profit position was weak. Since then, I've spent several years dissecting every piece of where I went wrong, and more importantly, have packaged those lessons into a powerful free workshop designed to help you avoid my mistake and fast track you to profit. So you get to learn how to increase your lead flow, boost your sales volume, practical cash flow strategies, optimizing your online presence, and my party trick is the proven profit formula, and to learn how to generate the same amount of profit as $1 million business with just 25% of that revenue. None of this is fluff. It's real strategies. I wish I would have started when I had my business, because that would have completely changed the bakery story and that vision of a world filled with gluten-free goodies and these communities wrapped up in all of these major cities. That was the vision, would have been for real and still happening. So I wish that was the case. But for now, the best part is that you get 100% actionable, cutting edge profit generating strategies that you can implement right away. So I'll see you at the next workshop. And until then, have a great day. Thanks for joining us.